Hey everybody, today we've got a coin flip battle. It's definitely far-fetched, but it's between Strom Thurmond for the Democrats and Tim Scott for the Republicans. This was suggested to me a while back in the comments. I'm pretty backed up, but I'm trying to get through some of these. I can't do all of them. I'll usually try to avoid some of the more outlandish ones. Once in a while we'll do one of them. That's going to be today. Hopefully you enjoy the coin flip battles. I realize it's just random silliness, but it's also a distraction from regular politics. So today we've got two U.S. senators who served from South Carolina. Strom Thurmond was in there a very long time. At the beginning of his career, he used to be a Democrat. Tim Scott is currently in office. So I don't know what's going to happen, but let's start flipping in Alaska. Let's see what happens. It's tails for Tim Scott. He's on the map first. Let's go to Hawaii. That's the next flip. And that is going to go tails for Tim Scott. Next, Washington. That has 12 electoral votes. Let's see if Strom Thurmond can get on the map. He's not going to do it yet. It's going to be Tim Scott. Next, Oregon. That's 8 electoral votes. That's going to go tails for Tim Scott. So far, Strom Thurmond shut out of this battle. Let's go to California. There's 54 electoral votes. That's a ton. That's going to go red for Tim Scott. Not sure if I've seen this before. A shutout through 5 flips. Let's see if we can go to 6. Here comes Nevada. There's 6 votes here. That does go heads for Strom Thurmond. He's on the map. Idaho is the next flip. That state is going to go to Strom Thurmond. He's into double digits. He's going to need a lot more than that. Utah is the next flip. That is going to go red for Tim Scott. How about Arizona? There's 11 electoral votes up for grabs, and they're going to go heads for Strom Thurmond. Next is Montana. There's 4 votes here, and those are going to go to Strom Thurmond. How about Wyoming? 3 more votes. Who wants these? Tim Scott wants them. And how about Colorado? Who wants these? There's 10 electoral votes here. Strom Thurmond wants those. He's got them. How about New Mexico? 5 votes here. Up for grabs, coming to Strom Thurmond. And that takes us to North Dakota. Here comes 3 more votes to Tim Scott. He's got 3 more. How about South Dakota now? That's next. Those are going to go red for Tim Scott. Now we've got Nebraska at large. 2 votes going to Tim Scott. How about Nebraska's first? There's 1 vote here, and it's going to Tim Scott again. How about Nebraska's second? Who's going to get this? It's heads for Strom Thurmond. He's got 1 electoral vote. Now we've got Nebraska's third. This is going to go to Tim Scott. Tim Scott at an even 100 now. Next, we've got Kansas. That has 6 electoral votes. And Strom Thurmond wants to grab those. How about Oklahoma? Who wants to snag 7 more electoral votes? Strom Thurmond says he wants to go 2 in a row, and he has those 7. Next, we've got Texas. There's 40 electoral votes. Here's the flip. That's a lot, and that's going to go red for Tim Scott. Scott now with a big lead. Minnesota, that's the next flip. That state is going to go red for Tim Scott. How about Iowa? 6 votes up for grabs, and those are going to go blue for Strom Thurmond. How about Missouri? There's 10 more votes here, and those are going to go blue for Thurmond. Now we've got Arkansas. There's 6 votes here. And Strom Thurmond puts those under his belt again. Next, Louisiana. 8 electoral votes. Coming to Tim Scott. How about Wisconsin now? There's 10 more electoral votes up for grabs. And those are going to go to Tim Scott again. Illinois is next. We've got 19 electoral votes. Those are going to go tails for Tim Scott. Over to Michigan now. Key Rust Belt state. Who's going to get these 15 electoral votes? Tim Scott is. He's over 200 now. Let's go to Indiana. There's 11 votes here. And those are going to go to Strom Thurmond. Now we've got Kentucky. 8 electoral votes. Red for Tim Scott. Tennessee is next. We've got 11 electoral votes now. And those are going to go to Tim Scott. How about Mississippi? Into the deep south. Strom Thurmond might do well here. Goes to Tim Scott. Scott with 3 straight. Next door to Alabama. Let's see what happens. Who's going to get these 9? It's Tim Scott again. Scott with an impressive showing here in the South. Let's go all the way down to Florida. That has 30 electoral votes. Strom Thurmond falling out of this thing. Let's see what happens. Can he start his comeback? No, those are going to go to Tim Scott. Scott now, already almost at 270. This is turning into a monster landslide. The next state is Georgia. And if Tim Scott wins this, he'll have done it before he even gets to his home state of South Carolina. Let's flip it. Here it comes. Strom Thurmond needs heads. He gets heads, and that puts him over 100. He's still horribly trailing, but my money is definitely on Tim Scott, and he can even do it right here on his home state of South Carolina. This is both of their home states. This would be one of the earliest wins if Tim Scott can get it done. Let's see who South Carolina loves more. Is it Strom Thurmond or is it Tim Scott? Who's going to get it? It's Tim Scott. He wins his home state of South Carolina. He also clinches this coin flip battle. He's at 275. Strom Thurmond only at 103. This is a super early night for Strom Thurmond. This could be a gigantic landslide if Tim Scott keeps it up. Tim Scott will also join the club of those who have won this coin flip battle on their home state. It's been done 2 or 3 times before, so congrats to him. But let's finish up these states. We've still got a bunch. North Carolina is next. Here it is, and that is going to go to Tim Scott. Let's jump up to Ohio. Tim Scott already looking to go over 300 here. There's 17 electoral votes. Who's going to win them? It does go blue for Strom Thurmond. How about West Virginia now? 4 electoral votes. Those are going to go to Strom Thurmond. Let's go to the corner now. Maine at large. 2 electoral votes. Going to somebody. It's Strom Thurmond. He has 3 straight. Maine's first now. This is the bluer district. It goes blue for Strom Thurmond. How about Maine's second? This is the redder district. And it goes red for Tim Scott. Let's go next door to New Hampshire. That has 4 electoral votes. And those are going to go to Tim Scott. How about Vermont? There's 3 electoral votes here. Who's going to get these? It's Strom Thurmond. He's got them. Next state, New York. Tim Scott's already won all the big states, California, Texas, and Florida. He's even done Illinois. Let's see what happens on New York. A lot of votes here, 28, going to Tim Scott. Scott really piling it on. He's going for a monster landslide. Let's keep it going. Let's do Massachusetts. 11 votes here, going heads for Strom Thurmond. How about Connecticut? There's 7 here at stake. And those are going to go tails for Tim Scott. How about Rhode Island? 4 electoral votes. Heads for Strom Thurmond. New Jersey is the next flip. There's 14 votes here. That's a lot. And those are going to go to Strom Thurmond. How about Delaware? Only 3 electoral votes. Those are tails for Tim Scott. He gets a little bit of icing out of Delaware. Next is Maryland. There's 10 electoral votes here. Tim Scott again. He has 10 more electoral votes. He puts another cherry on top. Let's go to Washington, D.C. 3 electoral votes. Those are going to go to Tim Scott again. He has 3 more. We've got 2 states left. Here comes Pennsylvania, who's going to get 19 electoral votes. It's Tim Scott. He's going to get 19 more. We've got 1 flip left. It's Virginia. I'm not positive, but I would think if Tim Scott wins this, that would be the biggest landslide we've seen on the coin flip battles. I also think with the dice battles, so let's flip it. Here's the last flip. 13 votes. Who's going to get them? It's Tim Scott. He takes Virginia. And your final total is 379 for Tim Scott. Only 159 for Strom Thurmond. Take a look at this map. Tons of red on here, coast to coast. This is an embarrassing loss for Strom Thurmond. He was completely out of his element. Tim Scott had the jets on the entire time. He did not let off the gas. He couldn't quite get to 400, but this is likely the biggest landslide we've seen. This is what I enjoy in the coin flip battles, either a back and forth battle or a complete landslide. So I don't know how many Strom Thurmond fans we've got out there, but the correct choice here was Tim Scott. He gets the job done. Congrats to him on the giant landslide. Soak in that map for just a second and let me know in the comments, what was your prediction going in? Did you have Tim Scott having the most dominant performance we've seen? And how many of you were pulling for Strom Thurmond? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join the channel if you'd like to support it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.